Even the livestock shelters are passive solar at Arkopia Farm. Let me tell you about this thing. So this is one of many livestock little shelters that I am currently whipping up. I have to do one in the east pasture, maybe this size or a little bigger. Another one for some of my handling and my bullpen and stuff. But this is 12 feet by 24 feet. I used 6 cull lumber posts, a whole bunch of really crooked, gnarly cull lumber, used tin and misordered but brand new tin on the roof. Total cost was well under $1,000 actually. 12 by 24, and I built this just like the Arkopia greenhouse. It's the same structure. This is exactly what it is. You can make this a little tiny structure if you want. On the south end, you could drill 3 little posts, put a beam, and 45 degrees out, put some glazing or polycarbonate, and you have a miniature Arkopia deep winter greenhouse. But this is just a livestock shelter. This is definitely an economical build, like cull lumber, used tin, and really light on the framing. Just 2x8 header, 2x6s. Things span like 12 feet overspan for something I'd build like to store equipment maybe or something like that, or my own garage or whatever. But just for a livestock shelter, it faces exactly south. So I ran it exactly east to west, and it's closed in the back. In the wintertime, typically the wind comes from the north. The cold winter, if it's a blizzard, typically the blizzard is blowing snow from the north. In the livestock shelter, I have a drinking water post that is 10 feet down and drains into a flood bed. So those drinking posts operate even in our Canadian winters, but this protecting it from the north, that harsh wind, and open up the sun's hitting it on the south. So right now it's literally just finishing the end of summer. The mornings and nights are cool. Still gets a little warm by the day. But at midday right now, the sun is into the building about 9 feet, 8 or 9 feet. So if an animal wants, they can lay at the back in the shade or closer to the front in the sun. In the summertime, the sun is where I live at a very steep angle, just like my greenhouse. And most of that shelter is shaded. If my animals on a hot summer day need some shelter from the sun, they can go in there. If they need shelter from the rain, they can go in there. In the winter time, if they want to warm up, the sun comes in at a 14-degree angle and it blasts the entire structure at the back. Now, this thing I literally built in maybe 8 to 10 uninterrupted hours myself. Just an auger to put the posts in and no special equipment. And you know, it's not exactly perfectly square like I'd build another building. It's just a livestock shelter, but under 10 hours and under $1,000. So this is going to be how it is. I'm not insulating it. It's not worth it, but the wind can't sneak in the middle. I have flashing everywhere and the ground is up towards a treated PWF piece of wood at the bottom. So no air is going to sneak in. So when I was building it, it was quite windy from the north. And you go in there and you don't feel the wind at all. It's protected from the wind. One thing I'm thinking about doing is getting a can of black paint and at the back wall on the inside, painting it black. Or else if I find a deal on a rubber mat or something, just hang up a rubber mat. So in the wintertime, that sun blasts that black rubber mat and it just makes it a little bit warmer, like a microclimate in there. And in the summertime, the sun doesn't hit that black paint or black rubber mat. It stays cool in there. So if you wanted to build a 12 by 24 greenhouse for literally $1,000, plus a little bit extra for a 3 more posts, some glazing, polycarbonate, or even just greenhouse poly, you could build this, put in some insulation out from the building, keep the frost from coming in. This is just cheap, used flat roof insulation suitable for moisture and use in the ground. I get for next to nothing. Insulate the walls and the roof just like I have this, and you have a miniature Arkopia deep winter greenhouse for very, very cheap for your backyard in the city or something like that. But if you are a farmer, face your buildings to the south. Everything I build is passive solar. My house faces south, my shop faces south, my greenhouse faces south, my passive solar barn has south-facing windows, even the livestock shelter. So when you're making plans, always face things to the south. So cows and other livestock could be rough on things. They can't have like a nice window and a thing to go in. They'll probably wreck stuff, right? So just open on the south and closed up on the north, east, and west sides. The odd time in the winter time, the snow will blow in from the south. So there might be the odd little snow drifts, but cows and pigs and stuff, you just give them lots of bedding. They'll kind of trample it down, or maybe I have to shovel it out like one time in the winter or something like that. Otherwise, the snow always comes from the north. So hopefully I don't get too many snow drifts and stuff. So that drinking water post that I put in, if it was just out in a field and exposed to the elements, especially that north wind, then you might have some freezing up issues. This, I have it in a microclimate. What I also did is I did an earthened ramp and raised up the back for my goats and pigs that they can get their snouts and noses in the drinking post. But on the front side, I did it for cattle. So cattle in this pasture, and I'm going to do the other one the exact same way. It's a better height for cows and your larger livestock. So in that microclimate is the livestock watering system, as well as a frost-free hydrant near to it. Now, if you have goats, this might not be quite enough. Maybe you want to close off a little bit of the south end. Pigs, they like burrowing. If you filled that full of straw, they will be perfectly fine in the wintertime. Cattle as well. We have Dexter cows that aren't quite as cold hardy as maybe some other varieties, but they're still quite cold hardy, that they can have access really late into the fall and early winter to go even dig through some snow to graze. But this would be all that a cow would need. Now, during calving season, or if you're going to have piglets or baby goats or something, you probably need a little bit more. Well, first of all, don't do it in the wintertime, but you'd need a better space maybe than this. But for 99% of the things on the farm, this is the shelter that the animals need. So it doesn't have to be crazy expensive, your setup. I did this very much on the cheap. I got deals on lumber and tin and everything, and I needed a full uninterrupted day, and I got it out myself. So it's doable to get stuff set up. It would be hard to buy a farm or a homestead with this situated the right way. Like there's like a 25% chance that they have it generally to the south. I drive around and this is what consumes my mind. Passive solar everything, because the sun is powerful and you might as well use that heat. So I expect no freeze up on the water. I expect my animals to be sunbathing in the wintertime. Nice snow all in front. Always give them fresh bedding. They'll be happy as can be in there. But I still have to finish my barn, which is right next to it. So for calving, if I have to in cold weather and things like that, and our poultry setup and stuff, I got a lot of work to do. I didn't film me building this because frankly, I got a lot of work to do, but it's very simple. Post, post, post at the front, post, post, post at the back, whatever framing, the minimal amount of wood that you can use where it's still structurally sound, posts deep in the ground. So if a south wind does come, it's not gonna sail and bring it up. Those posts have to be down. I think I put them 7 feet in the ground. So happy, healthy animals, that's what it's all about, and that makes me happy. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.